fix this because it's going to be broken immediately. We're not playing Rainbow Six Siege. I don't know why you think I am. Mute that. Say goodbye to that. I don't need it. And we're here. We're live. I feel tired. I feel like I haven't been able to escape being tired for the last however long. But we're here. We're live and we're here. And it's June, so probably a little queer. If I had to guess, you know. We've got another Ice video to watch. From Mortal Kombat. I'm actually interested. I was looking for other stuff that might be interesting. Not really anything. But we'll probably either come across other stuff or just talk about stuff in general. There's been a lot going on in the past 2 weeks, basically, since the last time I streamed. I played Clair Obscur 33 finally. I finished it yesterday, the day before. Oh my god. I loved the shit out of that game. I've completely flip-flopped. Welcome, Hudson. I've flopped entirely where I was like, I can't get in this game. It's not really my type of game. Like, I understand why people like it, but it's not really for me. If you've seen on the YouTube channel, I put out a whole video of me just glazing Expedition 33 for a couple minutes, because I now plan to make a full kind of like breakdown type of video on it. Hope you loved the Master Boomer image you sent in the Gears Discord page. I saw it briefly. I've been incredibly busy this last week. I think I saw what you're talking about boomers, the concept for boomers to throw wretches in Gears 3 or something like that. A little goofy. I think the biggest problem I have with that is trying to visualize it actually being done. Here, I can whip up the Discord. Oh, and B's not even here. Like, I'm late, and then B's not here either. What? This shouldn't even be a mod. Let's see. I did see that. Oh, it's in the Gears one. It's kind of funny. The whip is interesting. Like the Scorpion style chain whip. Or not Scorpion, Takeda. That's cool. I did see that in the Discord, yeah. They wanted to use it but didn't have time for it. Yeah, I mean, there's already a lot of shit going on in Gears 3. That would have been interesting. I mean, the Digger as a weapon is interesting to begin with. So, like, having another boomer variant that, like, throws wretches. I wonder how that would, like... Because wouldn't that just be, like, throwing them closer at you? Unless they did, like, a pin-type mechanic. Kind of like how Gears 5 does with the... Or Gears 4 and Gears 5 does with, like, pouncers, maybe? That would have been interesting. Outside of that, we have the... Let's see if we can get the rundown. Actually, let me pull up my favorite YouTuber in all of his existence. Where's SAS Shadows for all of the Gears of War news I need. I thought about also putting out or making like Gears of War news type stuff, and I'm like, Shadows has got it. I'll probably go back to doing some lore stuff. But otherwise, he's got it. Oh, he's been archiving all the maps. The beta, I mean, of course the beta involves everything. It's kind of got everything attached to it. I think the beta ends tomorrow, though. Did he repost the E-date? Guys. I've made fun of Shadows in the past for doing what I consider is kind of like lazy YouTube content. Like, it's not lazy. Like, there's definitely worse. And to me, it's more indicative of the fact that, like, Gears of War doesn't really have anything going on that, like, for fans to be attached to. So it's like, why not? But he did a bit on Asphalt Fields. Huh. Where did that page go? Okay. But, like, he just reposted the E-Day trailer 6 days ago. I thought, oh, that's funny. I just love the way, like, this is like prime YouTube content where it's like super clickbaity. It's not like necessarily clickbaity in like a bad way where it's like super manipulative, but it's clickbaity in a way where it's like, we know if you know anything about what's going on, it's like this is, you're like using the most, I don't know, like, oh, what's the word for it? Like twisty words. Keep your attention all the times. Yeah, it's like you're saying the most interesting thing, but it's not really what? Like this one, Marcus Phoenix Scar's origin story revealed. What? We know how he gets his scars. Welcome, B. We know exactly how he gets his scars. There's a whole scene about it in the slab. So, like, what do you mean the new origin of his scars revealed? We know how it happens. And E-Day is not going to do it because, unless it's a different set of scars, but mostly when you're talking about Marcus and his scars, you're talking about the main big one that goes down his face. So it's like, why you just want to have Gears of War E-Day in a video. Here, let's look. Let's let him tell us all about the beta. Abs even made a Gears short on it. Fun. I love the only Gears creator that I've noticed a few times that I genuinely like and I've kept up with a little bit is Carmine Forever. I haven't looked too much at his stuff, but I see it all the time, and it seems to be like very faithful in a way that I feel like Abs and Shadows may not be. Abs isn't that bad either, but as Shadows is. And that's the only like Gears creator I've kind of somewhat kept up with. Let's look all the stuff going on in Gears Reloaded. I haven't really paid attention to this. I tried to get into the beta, and my Xbox just told me no, so... Even though I am an owner of Ultimate Edition on digital and a Game Pass subscriber, but I've heard a lot of things about how the beta has gone really horribly. But I understand that it's just Ultimate Edition again. So your problem with Abs is he reads off the Gearspedia or whatever, the fandom Gears site. Yeah. Although I bet that's exactly the same as Shadows and a lot of other Gears creators. I don't expect they're all reading the books and stuff. I think Barricade, I remember hearing him talk about the lore and books and stuff explicitly in the past, and he had like a very familiar tone when talking about that kind of stuff. But let's look at this real quick.
Hey guys, Shadows here, welcome back to another Gears of War Reloaded video. Today we're going to be discussing how to get access to the multiplayer beta, maps, and pre-order skins. Gears of War Reloaded
I don't want it to be
official
louder
gameplay
than it
trailer was revealed by the Coalition Studio at the Xbox Game Showcase 2025 event, featuring mostly campaign cutscenes, 4K resolution glory, sprinkled in with several gameplay clips from the Versus multiplayer, as well as these awesome graphic text assets focusing on the major points of Gears of War Reloaded being: experience the groundbreaking original that changed gaming forever. Gears of War is coming to more players than ever before. Play across platforms with crossplay. Stay synced across devices with cross progression. Reloaded visuals with 4K HDR, 60 FPS campaign, 120 FPS multiplayer. And
by the way, you can get most of these upgrades already if you play Ultimate Edition on the next gen series consoles. Again, I don't have an issue with the Reloaded existing. It's just sort of pointless for a Gears fan, because if you're a hardcore Gears fan, you're still on Xbox. You've already played it. There's nothing new here. There's nothing new to the game. They're not making new multiplayer maps or adding in future game multiplayer maps into Gears Reloaded, or adding a version of Horde mode into Gears Reloaded or anything like that. Sorry, I'm a bit gassy. They're not like adding character skins or anything, which should be easy to do. The fact that Gears Ultimate Edition to begin with had a lot of character skins, like even Ice-T, Michael B. Jordan, like Jay Stratton and Aaron Griffin and stuff like that, is because Gears of War 1 has less, like the pool of voice lines you need for a character is way, way lower. So instead of having them come back and reprise their roles to fill out new like voice lines for new enemies and stuff like that, you can just have them say all of the old voice lines that they already had and even tone it down from there, because there's no Cantus in Gears of War 1. There's no tickers, you know, there's no Lambent or anything. So all those voice lines that a character like Jace said, you could cut half of his lines out and still have him in the game, and all the Carmines and stuff like that. So instead of going like even further with it and adding other characters backwards into it, so at least there's like something new for it. It's just Ultimate Edition again. So as somebody who's played a lot of Ultimate Edition, I re-upped once, maybe twice in Ultimate Edition. I don't have a reason to play it again. I'm not a big fan of Gears 1's multiplayer. No Trishka skin. I talk about Triska from fucking Bulletstorm, the one that only showed up in Gears of War Judgment.
Dolby Vision, split screen co-op, stay in the fight with Xbox Play Anywhere. Gears of War Reloaded releases August 26, 2025 on Xbox Series X and S, Xbox PC, Xbox Cloud, Steam, and PS5. Now, interestingly enough...
Thank you, Shadows, for spending the first minute of this video just reading verbatim what the trailer told us.
If you only watch the Xbox game showcase, then of course I fully understand the disappointment with no Gears of War E-Day. I would say if we had nothing, then this would be the worst year ever. However, instead, and for whatever reason, this wasn't included in the event, I don't know. But if you was wondering what happened to the leaked Reloaded beta, well, luckily for us, the Coalition Studios finally confirmed the Gears of War Reloaded beta is real and officially happening as soon as this weekend, as seen in the following. Welcome back to the Army Soldier. Pre-order Gears of War Reloaded to lock into back-to-back multiplayer beta weekend starting this Friday. The Gears of War Reloaded beta is officially confirmed for 2 multiplayer beta weekends this month in June on 13th.
He does sound robotic. The biggest issue I have with Shadows is his presentation and delivery. The fact that like he reads everything verbatim, like when he was going through the trailer. Instead of summarizing what the trailer told us, he just went through the trailer as is and read every line verbatim. And it's like, if you wanted to know that information, just watch the trailer. There's nothing new about that. There's no like insight. There's no commentary. It's just that. I'm ragging on Shadows again. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be doing it. It's like a like a nitpicky obsession I have.
15th and then 20th to the 22nd. As of right now, there are 3 different ways on how to get access to the Gears of War Reloaded beta. You can either pre-order Gears of War Reloaded digitally on Xbox, PS5 or PC, have an active Xbox Game Pass Ultimate or PC Game Pass membership, own a digital copy of Gears of War.
And by the way, it's always been my least favorite. I started with Gears of War 2, and then I played Gears of War 3, and then I went back to Gears of War 1. Even back then, when I was in middle school or high school, I hated Gears 1. It was dark, it was boring, there was less going on, you couldn't play multiplayer because by then, you know, I mean, I wasn't a big multiplayer person to begin with, and there were no bots to play against, and the campaign was the most boring out of them all. So it's like I would be going forward, and I'd be like, I'm going to play Gears of War 3 with my buddy and play Horde and Beast Mode. I have the, what's the medal called? Ruthless Carnage or whatever, the medal for killing humans in Beast Mode. I have that medal 4 times. I played the fuck out of Gears of War 2 and 3. Gears of War 1 has always been my least favorite. So, like, playing Ultimate Edition for the first time was kind of cool to see it, like, revamped in a way that looks nice and it doesn't look bad. Like, yeah, sure, it looked good when it came out in 2006. And compared to a lot of games from 2006 and even up till, like, 2010-ish, it still looks better than a lot of those games. Gears of War 1 doesn't hold up that much. The jump from Gears of War 1 to Gears of War 2 is honestly the most impressive. And then from Gears 2 to Gears 3 is night and day. Even though Gears 1 and Gears 2 are more similar on an aesthetic level. But yeah, Gears 1 has always been, to me, it's like the black sheep. Like, Gears 1 multiplayer feels lifeless. I mean, yeah, it's like one of the first tacked on multiplayer modes. It was literally like the devs at Epic were fucking around with it and were like, oh, we're having fun with this. Let's just add it on just for fun. It was supposed to be a campaign only game. And then now we have Gears of War multiplayer. And hey, I love Gears of War multiplayer in Gears 3 and 4 and 5 and even Judgment. That doesn't make the Gears 1 multiplayer good because we have it now. But yeah, it was like the initial tacked on multiplayer, especially in the Xbox, like the first of the Xbox 360 era.
Ultimate Edition prior to May 5th, 2025. Gears of War Reloaded Beta Multiplayer Weekend 1 begins on Friday, June 13th at 8 p.m.
Wow. Who made this graphic? Who chose this font? This is such a bad font. Such an ugly font. Oh, they're doing 2 weekends. Okay. So the beta ends tomorrow and Sunday with 3 maps in Team Deathmatch. And then next weekend there will be another one for Team Deathmatch and King of the Hill on Canals, Courtyard, and War Machine. Maybe we might tune in for it. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of it. And the beta is just what Ultimate Edition... We could probably find a match of Ultimate Edition easier than loading into the beta. The beta makes no difference except for now there's a pool of PlayStation players who might be online as well. Otherwise, it's the same game. So it's not that big of a deal, to be honest.
p.m. UK, 3 p.m. Eastern, and 12 p.m. Pacific to Sunday, June 15th, and features a social multiplayer experience in the classic Team Deathmatch mode across 3 maps, including the fan favorite.
Okay, come on, Shadows. That's how I know you're reading it verbatim. Team Deathmatch is not classic to Gears. It's not even it's especially not classic to Gears 1. That wasn't added till Gears 3, and a lot of people... I've seen Gears Reddit in flames over the fact that they have, like, Team Deathmatch as the mode in the beta and not Warzone or Execution, although most people don't really care about Warzone or Execution unless you're like a 2006 Gears vet. Otherwise, nobody gives a fuck. But still, come on, Shadows.
My personal favorite, Raven Down and Gold Rush. Gears of War Reloaded Beta Multiplayer Weekend 2 begins on Friday, June 20th at 8 p.m. UK, 3 p.m. Eastern and 12 p.m. Pacific to Sunday, June 22nd, including the competitive King of the Hill game mode on the map Canals being added into the mix along with the map's Courtyard and War Machine for use in Team Deathmatch. Next up, for those that either pre-order Gears of War Reloaded on any gaming platform, whether that be Xbox, Xbox PC, PlayStation or Steam, as well as also Game Pass Ultimate or Game Pass PC members, will not only receive access to the Versus multiplayer beta for 2 weekends, but you will also receive 2 character skins for use in the Gears of War Reloaded multiplayer, including Adam Phoenix, the father of Marcus Phoenix, and the legendary military
So they're
scientist.
just repackaging the skins from Ultimate Edition as beta or pre-order bonuses for Reloaded. That's funny. So what happens if you're like somebody like me who has like the super deluxe edition of Ultimate Edition that gave me access to characters like Adam Phoenix, but now going into Reloaded because I didn't pre-order Reloaded? I mean, I have it in Game Pass and stuff, but because I didn't pre-order Reloaded, I don't get it. That's kind of funny considering it's like the exact same game. Gears 3 beta, you got Bulletstorm to go with it. Gears 2 beta, you got Unreal Tournament 3. Yeah, like having the beta connected to another game. I mean, you had to buy Bulletstorm to get the Gears 3 beta, but I know what you're saying. I don't know what they would do that with. The Coalition isn't really in cohorts with a lot of other games right now. Like, that's a cross-promotional thing from within Epic Studios and or People Can Fly, but Reloaded is by itself? Yeah. But I don't know what they would pair it with.
Who invented the Hammer of Dawn weapon. Now he's geared up and ready to help defend humanity from the Locust Horde. Anya Stroud, the guiding voice of Delta Squad in the campaign story from the desk at COG CIC to the war zones of Athera. Anya is trained and ready to curb stomp some Locust grubs. Now, I'm not sure if either both Adam Phoenix and Civilian Anya Stroud will be unlockable in the final game, or if they are exclusively only available to pre-orders and Xbox Game Pass Ultimate members. It is yet to be seen. So if you do want these character skins or care about having all of the Versus multiplayer characters, then you already know what to do. Either pre-order Gears of War Reloaded or get yourself on Xbox Game Pass Ultimate.
By the way, there is no reason to pre-order. It is a remaster of a remaster. It's the same game we've had before. If you already own the Ultimate Edition and you pre-order Reloaded for a skin, I don't know, man. I think you you like are asking or deserving of being scammed at that point.
Finally, the Coalition's very own head of studio, Mike Crum, alongside Kate Rayner, the studio technical director, recently joined the Xbox official podcast to offer a deeper dive into learning more about Gears of War Reloaded, the beta, and even a little bit about E-Day, which I will cover in a future video. Now, if you do want to go watch that podcast episode in full, I will link it down below in the description of this video. For specifics, the Coalition has fully replaced and modernized the back-end dedicated servers, going from 30Hz to 60Hz for Versus multiplayer in Gears of War Reloaded, with an expanded increase in data centers across the world, especially in the South America Latin region. Overall, Gears of War Reloaded is the definitive release of the iconic original game that started it all. Not only does this remaster include all of the post-launch content from the original and Ultimate Edition, it also delivers a litany of technical achievements that weren't possible 20 or even 10 years ago. The Gears...
What technical achievements does it do now? I guess it runs at 120 FPS. 4K, I'll be honest with you, completely honest, I don't give a shit. Like, I'm so over this, like, raw dogging of games have to look fucking incredible and things like that. Like, I've always been, like, a big advocate for, like, I don't really care if games look realistic. If they can look realistic and be a fun game, cool, that's awesome. If your entire purpose of, like, a remaster of a remaster of a remake is to pump up the look of it, it has no purpose to me. If it's got no new content, if it's got nothing to actually get me there other than it looks nicer, I don't care. Naughty Dog does this and people excuse it. I mean, people that have to defend Naughty Dog, I don't excuse it. Fuck Naughty Dog for that. I'm not going to give Naughty Dog an excuse. Like, no, that's not going to happen. I still think it's stupid either way. But yeah, it's, there's like, as somebody who's played a lot of Ultimate Edition, there is no reason for me to play this game outside of, what do you call it? Nothing. Unless I was really into Ultimate Edition, but I'm not. Otherwise, I would be playing Ultimate Edition. I don't even play Gears 4 and 5 anymore. I just don't have a lot of stake in Gears right now. And I felt like this was not the way to do it. If you wanted to go full out and be like, familiarity, I mean, kind of. If they're planning to put E-Day out on PlayStation and stuff, I could, I could say, I've said it multiple times, if you're somebody who's on PlayStation or if you're on PC or whatever, I can understand why it might be for you. Me, as somebody who plays on Xbox and has played Ultimate Edition through 2 re-ups, there's no point to it for me. And I know there's a large, probably majority contingent of like a Gears of War fan base, at least the fan base that is like still alive, that probably feels the same way. Outside of like revitalized servers. But again, if you're not a big fan of Gears of War 1's multiplayer, like a lot of people aren't, why? I'm not going to log in to play a game that I don't really care about just because it's like refreshed. I'm going to go and start playing Expedition 33 again. If they like tacked on Gears of War 2 and Gears of War 3 like MCC edition, I could kind of I could almost like see it, or I could see it a lot more clearly than this, but because it is just a remaster of a remake, it just feels so much less interesting, you know? Like it just feels purposeless outside of introducing it on PlayStation and PC, which is the bigger deal here. The game itself is not important. The way the game is being shipped is. which to me, the consumer on Xbox, I don't give a shit, you know? And that's just sort of how it rolls out.
Gears of War Reloaded beta is officially confirmed and happening real soon on June 13th to 15th and then June 20th to 22nd for 2 weekends only, featuring a Team Deathmatch in King of the Hills, the game modes, across 6 multiplayer maps in Gridlock, Raven Down, Gold Rush, Canals, Courtyard, and War Machine. Pre-orders are now officially live for Gears of War Reloaded on Xbox Series consoles, Xbox PC, PS5 and Steam, giving players access to both the Reloaded beta as well as also the Adam Phoenix and Anya Stroud multiplayer character skins in the full game releasing on August 26, 2025. As of right now, the Gears of War Reloaded beta is available to download and install right now on any gaming platform live, including the Xbox Store.
How come you recently downloaded the Gears 5 and Gears 4 beta? Why, Shadows, why are you going back and those are defunct, they don't exist anymore?
Is of 13.19 gigabytes, so that you're already like I am for this upcoming weekend. I will of course be live streaming the Gears of War Reloaded beta versus multiplayer all day, both weekends live on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. So please stop by, say hi, and let's play some Gears of War Reloaded beta versus multiplayer action. Bring on that Raven Down gas. Please make sure to leave me a comment down below telling me what you think. Are you excited for the Gears of War Reloaded beta, and will you be playing this weekend? Thank you guys so much for 97k. We are officially trying to hit the big 100,000 YouTube subscribers, so please make sure you subscribe to the channel if you do enjoy my Gears of War content and want to see even more videos. There is a playlist on my YouTube channel containing all of my other Gears of War Reloaded videos so far. If you do want to check out more like this one, click the join button to become a YouTube channel member to gain access to emotes, channel badges, and most importantly, early access to all new videos before anyone else. I want to give a big shout out to all of the members on screen for becoming a Shadow Knight YouTube channel member. I truly appreciate your support. So there you have it, guys. Full details on Gears of War Reloaded beta with how to get
it. The top comment here is saying exactly what I did, how it's kind of disappointing, but happy for the people that are excited. I wish there was more to it, you know? I want to be excited about this. Like, I remember when we watched the showcase, they opened up with the Rom and Kim scene, and I was like, Gears of War, and I was like, oh, it's that. Like, I want to be excited about a Gears of War project. That's why I was hoping when fucking Phil Spencer was up there and was like, now let's hear from a franchise that's been with Xbox for 20 years, since the very beginning. And then it cuts to Call of Duty. Dude, that was the hardest blue ball of all fucking time. That ending to that showcase, a lot of the games in the Xbox showcase this year were really interesting to me. That ending fucking killed any interest that I had coming out of it. Like, I thought they were going to talk about Halo, something that's been with Xbox since the beginning, or even Gears Z-Day would have been really nice. But Call of Duty again, and then hyping it up as if it's this big special thing. And it's like, I've seen a lot of people online talk about, well, why are you putting it down? You never know. It could be a good Call of Duty game. Come on. Really? You have your hopes up for Call of Duty Black Ops 7? Come on. As if the past 5 Call of Duty games weren't enough to be like, okay, maybe there's no point in getting excited about this. Don't worry, B, I saw that. If you want to recap over what the Xbox Showcase actually did show off, let me find Xbox. It was about 2 weeks ago now, so it'll be a bit down. They showed off a bunch of games that were actually kind of interesting and a bunch that I didn't necessarily care about. It's right here. So let's run through what they showed off and what was interesting and what was not. I felt like it was a lot more not interesting than interesting, but it's whatever. So it starts here with the Outer Worlds 2. We already know that was coming. If you liked Outer Worlds, or if you liked... no, you're fine. I'm killing time until 10 p.m. anyways, because we need Ice to be here for us to look at Ice's video. So we got another 15 minutes at least. The Outer Worlds 2, if you played the first Outer Worlds, or if you like Bethesda's Fallout's type games, you'd probably be into that. There he is. There's Ice. It's like I summoned him. High on Life 2. I didn't like the first High on Life at all. It was too Rick and Morty for me. the ROG Xbox. I mean, I'm curious about that. I'm curious how expensive that is, because I know it's just an Xbox, but with Steam attached to it, which feels like a soft, like there's been a lot of rumors about them selling the Xbox as effectively a $500 gaming PC, and the ROG Ally feels like a soft launch or like a test of how effective that would be. And I feel like after we see that, and after we see if that's, you know, however successful it is, we'll see more about that. They're making a new Plague Tale game. I'm interested about that one. I liked the first Plague Tale. I need to play the second. I haven't finished it. I got like a few hours into it, and then I just keep getting behind on things. Even games I've been fucking waiting for, like Senua 2. I completely missed Senua's 2 because I've just been so goddamn busy. Yeah, it would be interesting. Dude, getting like Steam on an Xbox, that would kill PlayStation. If you could have an Xbox console that played Steam, the next Windows will definitely be improved by all this under the hood work. That too. It'll help Windows. And like if you could get Steam on an Xbox console, on a $500, even $600 console in your living room that played Steam, and then on Steam played all of PlayStation's exclusives like God of War and Spider-Man, PlayStation goes out the fucking window, you know? Like, having Xbox handheld with Epic Games and Steam, yeah, that's also very big dick energy, I agree with that. Valve has been trying to make Steam consoles a thing. Yeah, but the thing about, like, the Steam Deck is that it's just Steam. So having, like, the big name, like, console brand behind it brings in a more casual audience who probably don't even know the Steam Deck exists. You know, the Steam Deck is very, like, it feels more niche than, like, an Xbox handheld would be. Or even if the next Xbox console itself, the Xbox, whatever the fuck they call it, Series 360 probably, some stupid bullshit, if that has Steam on it, that will fucking rock the console market. And the only thing that will probably be untouched is Nintendo, because Nintendo has their own little pocket. So it's like Nintendo you can't really affect because they are so isolated from the rest of the market, versus like the Xbox and PlayStation take up the same market space. So if Xbox takes up a bigger chunk of that market space, it would affect PlayStation a lot more than Nintendo. What else did we have? Super Meat Boy. They're making another Super Meat Boy in 3D. So it's like Astrobot, effectively, which I thought was cool. That'll be an interesting one. Ninja Gaiden 4. I still haven't watched Ice's video on the old Ninja Gaidens. At least I don't think so. Maybe we did. But I don't remember doing so. Ninja Gaiden 4. I have no relation to that series, so X360X. Dude, it's going to be something like it fucking confounds me, because I feel like when you're talking about something, especially like video games, like the number one thing that I think is, like, I had many times growing up, like me and my brothers had Xbox and like a Wii, and I had some cousins who had like a PSP and a 3DS and stuff, and our grandma would be like, I'm going to get a PSP gift card for all of the grandchildren because that's the video game thing. And it's like, no, Grandma, we have Xbox. It's very, very different. And I feel like if your thing can't pass the grandma test, rename it. Like, if you have the Xbox 360, the Xbox One, the Xbox One X, the Xbox Series X, what the fuck are you doing? Why is that so complicated? PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoa! Numbers! They're so helpful and useful. I get that they're like trying to, like, the whole point of the 360 was that, like, you didn't want to have Xbox 2 competing with the PlayStation 3 because it makes it look worse. Come up with a naming convention that isn't super complicated and fucking dumb, because it is the dumbest shit. Imagine trying to explain to like a 60, 70-year-old grandma, hey, don't get me the Xbox One X, get me the Xbox Series X, and trying to like make that stick. Dude, it's fucking stupid. A buddy of mine bought a One S instead of the Series S. Exactly, dude. And that's not even like somebody who's geriatric. Imagine. It came with a bunch of games he'd ever played, but still, I mean, yeah, like the 7th generation consoles aren't bad. Like there's a total of what, 4 games in the PlayStation market that are exclusive only to the PS5, and the PS4 runs the rest of them. Like there's not really a whole need to get the newest consoles unless there's like a few specific games that you absolutely are into. But I mean the Xbox Series S is so cheap, you might as well just get that one instead of the One S anyways. Visually, it's hard to tell. Yeah, that's also true. Like the Series S and the One S are identical, except for the Series S is like shorter. Like it's literally half the size by like, what do you call it? Length, I guess. So if you're looking at it like from the front, it's basically the same fucking console. I think the One S may not have had the big black circle in the top, but who the fuck is going to be paying attention to that? Yeah. But I mean, otherwise, they look the same. It's not like PlayStation where you look at it like a PS4 and a PS5 and you're like, I wonder which one's the PS5. PSVR games are not compatible with the PSVR 2 games? What? Is the PSVR 2 compatible with PlayStation 4? Or is it like you need a whole new VR setup to play PlayStation VR on the 5? That's also kind of insane. I've got the fucking Oculus 3 or whatever, and I still like I sold my Oculus 2 because I wasn't using it that much, and then I bought an Oculus 3. I was like, I have more space, I could use it again, and then I just don't use it as much. The guy who hasn't touched his PS5 in 5 years, there was nothing interesting. I mean, yeah, it sucks. Like it's mainly because a lot of those consoles came out in 2020 during COVID, so a lot of games got delayed. So a lot of games that probably would have been launch titles or close to launch titles for the PS5, like say God of War Ragnarok. If God of War Ragnarok and the PS5 went smoothly, it would have been a launch title for the PS5, but it was forced to be compatible with the PlayStation 4. That's why you still have like that loading screen going around the ring in God of War Ragnarok, because it was made to be compatible with PS4 because they hadn't sold enough PS5s to justify making it exclusive to the PS5 console. So it's like that whole 2020, 2021 fucked everything up, and it's made this like newest generation feel so much more lackluster. Like it's just barely starting to catch up, you know? What else? The new Indiana Jones DLC. I still need to play the Indiana Jones game to begin with. I've heard nothing but good things. The Pokemon devs are making a Monster Hunter game, which is interesting. I mean, I don't really have an interest in it, but it looks cool. I like the aesthetics. Clockwork Revolution. We watched this one on the showcase. This one was probably the game I was most excited for coming out of it. It definitely caught my attention. This is like a steampunk kind of game with time travel and shit, but it does steampunk in a very interesting, creative way, where it's like my biggest criticism of Legally Distinct BioShock. I mean, it doesn't have any of like the dark magic type stuff that BioShock and or like Dishonored had, so it is more like technological steampunk rather than arcane steampunk, you know, which does set it apart. Grounded 2, if you like Grounded, probably. I don't give a shit about Grounded. Chronos, that looks interesting. That's like it looked kind of Dead Spacey. It's also interesting. Elder Scrolls Online, who gives a fuck? Aphelion, that game also, like, I liked the look of like the world and stuff. It's on like this ice planet during like a crash. There was no like gameplay or anything interesting about it though, so it was like, I mean, it looks cool. I don't really care though. No ghosts at the Grand. This game, hold on. Let's just look at this again, because holy shit. This game caught me so off guard when we were watching it on the live stream.
Welcome to England, Mr. David. I know this must be a shock, having never met your real father.
Very
but
different
he left you this
taste,
hotel in his will. It's been in your family for generations, much like the caretaker.
This trailer's just groovy,
A
man.
little eccentric. You'll see.
Let me welcome
Yeah, there's a new James Bond game coming.
A hotel famous across the land.
I want to listen to the whole soundtrack of just this guy singing, you know? But like, this is a hotel renovator game but also you're fighting ghosts and like Cthulhuian, what do you call it? Lovecraftian monsters at the same time. It's just such an interesting thing. That one caught me really off guard. I think that one got my interest a lot. A new thing for Age of Mythology I've never touched. Mudang. That one also looked interesting. It's like a Splinter Cell Resident Evil type of game, like a third-person action stealth type thing. Planet of Lana. That one's very beautiful. It reminds me more of like Ori and the Wisps than anything. It's apparently a sequel. I've never heard of the first one. Fallout 76 DLC. Boo! Solo leveling of Rise Overdrive. Again, that title is so fucking long. Anemo, we have legally distinct Pokemon with these things. Like, just look at the thumbnail. Like, that's just, it's Pokemon, but not Pokemon, you know? But it's less like, what was the other one? Pow World? Like, Pow World is visibly not Pokemon in the way that, like, they have guns and shit. Like, that is very explicitly, like, it looks like Pokemon, but it's not trying to be Pokemon. This game looks like Pokemon. Like, if you didn't tell me the title and you told me it was a Pokemon game, I would not be surprised. Tony Hawk's 3 and 4, we already know that's been coming. Fate's End, that game looks interesting. The art style is beautiful. It's like it looks to be a sort of, what's the term for it? Castlevania? Metroidvania type game with like a card mechanic. Like what the fuck are the magic cards called? Nope, not coming to me. I want to say taboo cards, but that's not what the fuck they're called. Represent the legally distinction of the Lollipop Guild. What? I don't even know what the fuck that's in reference to. Gears Remastered. Persona 4 Revival. I don't know anything about that. New Sea of Thieves thing. The Invincible game is here. Tarot cards, thank you. The Invincible game is here. This was the fattest blue ball I felt in like the whole show. The ending with like Call of Duty was like a fat blue ball too. It's a Simpsons joke. I'm not caught up on this. I haven't watched The Simpsons in almost 15 years. The Call of Duty thing at the end of the show really fucking hurt. But this was like a hard blue ball, right? Like before the Call of Duty reveal, you know?
Please, come on.
Had enough yet?
No, Dad, not even close.
Skybound? Yeah. Oh, you're streaming as well? Good luck, guys.
Our rule.
All this build up Invincible stuff where you got another universe where Omni-Man's still his wife. This fighting game looks sick. Hey, it's being made by like the 2015 Killer Instinct devs. If you're really into fighting games, if you really like that kind of stuff, all the power to you. Is it bad? It's not bad. Like, if you like fighting games and you like Invincible, it's probably right up your alley. If you like Killer Instinct, if you're like one of those people who is really into fighting games, fantastic. I've seen everybody in the fighting game community, like I think the first one I saw was Maximilian Dude, talk about how like he loved this and it was really interesting and like it's doing a lot of cool stuff for fighting games. Do you want Mortal Kombat with me anytime? I'm up for it, yeah. Just let me know. But when you tell me you're making an Invincible video game, a video game based on Invincible, the TV show and or comic, I expect to be flying around a city or something, you know? Like, I was not... we didn't know anything about the game until this point, so, like, it being a fighting game really killed the excitement I had for an Invincible video game. It's cool that it's there, and for the people who love it, that's awesome. I really couldn't give less of a shit about an Invincible fighting game. So, like, for me, like, I was, like, in my head for a while, like, kind of hyped up on the idea of, like, ooh, an Invincible, like, open world game where you get to, like, fly around and kind of, like, step into the shoes of, like, that power fantasy. That would be great, but that's not what it is. Story following game would have been more interesting. Yeah. And the Superman Returns from 2005 or whatever. I remember playing the demo a lot. I think it's just I have a personal grudge with it because I want a game where I can feel like my favorite thing about the Viltrumites is the physicality and like throwing people in the buildings and flying off. And I've tried to get like VR games that like allow you to do that kind of shit where you're like flying around. I think it's called Project Demigod is like the biggest one, but it's like the physics and the motion and the engine of the game sucks so much because it's made in like Unity or whatever that like it's not satisfying. And I just want a satisfying open world Superman-esque invincible game. And I like thought that this game would have been something like that, and then it's just a fighting game, and like that really hurt my soul a bit. Again, if you like that kind of thing, awesome, cool. It's just not for me. What else did we get? Final Fantasy, some more of those. The Keeper, that one was interesting. This is a platforming puzzle type game where you play as a lighthouse. So. And then Black Ops 7, which, cool. It's Black Ops. You know, I'll say it's Black Ops. It's Call of Duty Black Ops. But other than that, I don't give two shits. And then this. And then I've been playing Expedition 33. I'm a bit late to the party. I know it came out like close to 2 months ago now. And I've just gotten into it in the last week. But this game has completely taken over my entire life. It is just
the conversations
gorgeous, beautiful, even. And it's been getting 9s out of 10s and 10s out of 10s all over the place. People love this game, rightfully so. I made a whole video, literally called. Hold on, let's pull up the Buster McTender YouTube channel, called "Doing Tricks on It for Expedition 33 for 8 minutes," and that's not wrong. All I do for 8 minutes of this video is just glaze the fuck out of Expedition 33 because it's such a good fucking game. Oh, it's fantastic, and I've fallen so hard in love with it. I've pulled full 180. Where like first when I like tried to get into it, I was like, I see why people like this, but it's not really my thing. And then like I forced myself to play a little bit more and a little bit more of it. It looks like Final Fantasy. It's definitely similar to that. It's more interactive than Final Fantasy is, from what my understanding of Final Fantasy. I've never played Final Fantasy. From what I understand, it is more interactive than Final Fantasy. It's more involved. But it's just gorgeous. The story is amazing. The music is fucking amazing. Like, it's so great. It doesn't turn into 1884, where everyone was hyped for it and just shat on it when it came out. Hyped for what? Wait, what? What are you talking about? Expedition 33 already came out. I'm hyping it up because it has come out. I don't know what game you're talking about. Now I'm lost. Oh, okay. I think we're both confused. But we're gonna look at this. I said he had a lot of fun making this video. So you played 15, a little 16, so not knowledgeable about Final Fantasy. I haven't played any of them. I know there's like a couple, like you can find Easter eggs to Persona and Final Fantasy in the game. Hell, we may even pull it up on stream here and after like we watch this video or whatever. But I don't want to. It's like a game where I don't want to show any of it because it's like I don't want to spoil it for anyone. It is such a good game that I'm like, go play it, go enjoy it. It's so amazing. 1884. I know what 1884 is. Everyone was hyped for it. It came out. It turned out to be a walking sim. It's very like, it's like a principle like what everyone thinks of when you tell them it's like an action adventure PlayStation story game. 1884 is like the epitome of that in like the worst way possible. But the aesthetics in the world are cool. I've never played it myself, but like from what I have seen of it, it looks interesting at least. I don't know how well the gameplay translates. But yeah, Expedition 33 is so fantastic. Hold on, let's just real quick. Hold on. Pull this up. This is on my playlist permanently now. Hold on. There's a very specific track I want to pull up because it's just so good, man. It is so fantastic. People dunked on it. Yeah. Let me just pull up the full playlist. View full playlist. Thank you. The titles are so long that I can't fucking read what the titles are. God damn it. By the way, there's 174 tracks in the playlist. Let that sink in. There's 174 music tracks in the playlist. Oh, it's a long game too, and it was made by like 30 people, and it's $50. Like, what? It's fucking $30 under like mainstream prices. It was made by 30 people, and it is one of the most beautiful, most fantastic games that I have played in so fucking long. Like I've said, and I stick with this, I like it more than Baldur's Gate. I still like Baldur's Gate a lot, don't get me wrong. They're different types of games as well. But this game... Whoa. It's so good. It is so fantastic. Hold on, let's pull this up real quick. I'm just going to play a little bit of the soundtrack for you. Not even spoiling the game or anything. We're just going to sit here and listen to the soundtrack a little bit. Because this soundtrack is just... Oh my god. Bold claim? No, it's not. It's not. It's such a wonderful, beautiful game. And like, I appreciate Baldur's Gate for what it is. Baldur's Gate does a lot of amazing things. It does a lot of great things even. It still has flaws, and it still has issues, and it's still rough around the edges, and you can appreciate it for that. Expedition 33 had me addicted like it was in my veins. It was rough. Yeah, I pulled multiple all-nighters because I was like, if I don't get I wanted to get the game done because I knew the longer that I didn't have the game done, the longer I wouldn't be able to focus on working on video projects or anything else. The internet sees Baldur's Gate and Witcher 3 as their darling. I mean, yeah, that doesn't stop Expedition from being better than both of them. I love The Witcher. I love Baldur's Gate. You know, I make my own D&D homebrew stuff all the fucking time, and I own both the steel and silver swords. Like, actual swords. I love Expedition 33 so much. It's such a fantastic game. And, oh my god, is it beautiful. The fact that it's in such a genre that I normally never touch. I've never played any Final Fantasy, Persona-type games. Any game of that caliber whatsoever. And then I fucking got addicted to Expedition 33. Dude, it is on a different level. Like, it is just fan-fucking-tastic. But that's enough yapping about, or glazing, rather, of Expedition 33. I know I'm kind of deep-throating it right now, but we're going to get into this. You dipping out soonish? Oh, the new FNAF game? That's fair. That's valid. We're going to get into this and look at Ice's video on Mortal Kombat side modes are really weird. I wonder if this is... Okay, so it's about like all the side stuff, extra stuff. That'll be interesting to look at then. Let's get into this. Try to not make it a 3-hour reaction. and that's about it. I don't even know why I'm fucking laughing. Dude, I got fucking Joker fear toxin in here. Or whatever the fuck it's called. Laffy Taffy gas. Whatever. Let's get into it. Oh, I could shut the fuck up.
Mortal Kombat is well known as a bloody, gory, spine-ripping, fatality-filled affront to modern society and morals. At least that's what was said by the overreacting pro-clutchers who thought our youth were being destroyed by these on-screen war crimes.
Shame on people that produce that trash. It's child abuse in my judgment.
Dude, I love like the purity panic in the 90s with like Mortal Kombat and Doom, and like in the 2000s with GTA and Call of Duty. We spend however much. Who the fuck is that guy's name? Jake Thompson? John Thompson? We spend so much money to prepare our Marines to go to the Middle East, but you get the same thing for $60. And it's like, no, you fucking can't. You really trying to say that Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is the same as sending your child to like Marine boot camp? Are you fucking for real right now? You stupid troglodyte. Like, what?
Times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
But the over-exaggerated panic about it corrupting our youth isn't even the weirdest thing in the history of Mortal Kombat. This is a series that features deadly penguin eggs, turning your opponent into a baby, hugging Teddy.
Your parents say that about Fortnite? Dude, I mean, it's existed forever. And they used to have that same complaint about D&D, how it's teaching you spellcraft and how to commune with the devil. It's stupid fucking bullshit. There's a story where kids laugh at a guy's baldness and God summoned 3 bears. What? So if I ask you bear or man, God's answer is the bear. Fortnite causes so much violence. Yeah, when I see Hank Hill, Peter Griffin, Kratos, Master Chief, Doom Guy, and Hatsune Miku, I can't even. And Ariana Grande hitting the gritty. That's what creates school shooters, man. That's what. that's where the issues in America stem from.
Bears and Kratos murdering Freddy Krueger by throwing him in front of a speeding taxi.
Kratos wins. Flawless victory.
And somehow, those still aren't the weirdest things in Mortal Kombat. So today, we're going to be digging through all of the chaotic side
chess combat? Did that just say chess combat?
Modes that this franchise has ever spawned. Because Mortal Kombat isn't just a fighting game. Mortal Kombat is peak chaos.
Mortal Kombat Mario Kart with the Doom soundtrack drop. Oh, this is amazing. I'm so excited for this video.
It was at this moment.
Big whoop, want to fight about
it? I didn't know. Chess? I didn't know. So I know Mortal Kombat has had its side of goofiness. I mean, I'm only really intimately familiar with like Mortal Kombat 9 and forward. Again, I was... When did Mortal Kombat 9 come out? 2010-ish? Watched the intro multiple times and listened closely. Little one waking up and stuff. Oh, you ended stream? What did I listen close for? I could hear like the 2011? Yeah, I was 9 years old when Mortal Kombat 9 came out. I don't know what I'm listening for. I could hear all of like the jokes and stuff too. I am catching those on like the Vine memes. At this moment, he knew he fucked up. That kind of stuff. I'm more just enthralled with the fact that Mortal Kombat chess exists. Why are they on all fours? Hold on. I'm looking at this closer now. I hear the sound effects. I can hear them, yeah. The sound effects aren't making me laugh as much as the pure absurdity of whatever the fuck is I'm looking at on screen. The announcer in the song. Yeah. I can catch it. There's a Star Wars chess game too. But like a game? Gear sound effect for you, Papa? Oh, hold on. Maybe I didn't hear it. Hold on. Ice wants me to make sure I pick up on all his little editing tricks. By the way, I completely understand. What? Why did that? I unplugged my headphones and it fucked everything up. The amount of like times I've like worked really hard on an edit, and I'm like, man, nobody cared about that. Trust me, I understand. I understand the plight. Hold on. We're whipping out the good headphones so that I can listen to every inch of this masterpiece that Ice has made for us to consume and enjoy on a Saturday night. Whipping out the studio shit. Star Wars at one point made a video game of chess with Star Wars characters. See, but like that in its own. That's true. I did say that. The Star Wars thing doesn't surprise me because Star Wars is everywhere and it's done everything. So Star Wars having like a Star Wars chess game doesn't surprise me. It's Mortal Kombat having chess on the inside of a Mortal Kombat game that is surprising. Hold on. Let's go back. Let's start from the top.
Mortal Kombat is well known as a bloody, gory, spine-ripping, fatality-filled affront to modern society and morals. At least that's what was said.
The fucking Coltrane Woo, is that
by the overreacting pro-clutchers who thought our youth were being destroyed by these on-screen war crimes.
Shame on people that produce that trash. It's child abuse in my judgment.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
But the over-exaggerated panic about it corrupting our youth isn't even the weirdest thing in the history of Mortal Kombat. This is a series that features deadly penguin eggs, turning your opponent into a baby, hugging teddy bears, and Kratos murdering Freddy Krueger by throwing him in front of a speeding taxi.
I love the taxi. These guys are so stupid.
Kratos
in the best way.
Flawless victory.
And somehow, those still aren't the weirdest things in Mortal Kombat. So today, we're going to be digging through all of the chaotic side modes that this franchise has ever spawned. Because Mortal Kombat isn't just a fighting game. Mortal Kombat...
The guy who hated on GTA games for supposedly bad things in it? There's so many people that applies to. Are you talking about the guy I was referencing? Jake Thompson, whatever his name was, who was like really against GTA 5? That's the only one like of prominence I can remember, but there's been all sorts of bullshit about the GTA games over the years.
That is peak chaos.
Jack Thompson? Yeah.
Say who's bad boy.
It was at this moment.
Big whoop, wanna fight about it?
The cut to the fucking the Baroque smoking club with the fucking Mortal Kombat chess table.
Faker, what was that?
Before we dive into all of the weird and chaotic modes of the Mortal Kombat series, I'd like to thank my channel members for supporting videos like this.
Hell yeah, guys. Hell yeah. By the way, hold on, before I forget. Did I do that? Yeah. I'm going to drop this in chat. Everybody, please stop by Snake's video and just drop a like on it. And watch the whole thing a second time if you really want to. This is really good so far. One of my favorite videos you've ever made. It fits the whole theme of like chaos, you know?
Join these combatants on screen for only $1 a month. Let's start all the way back to when I was just a twinkle in my dad's eye. The first Rockstar taste of chaos came in the form of Test Your Might in the original Mortal Kombat in 1992. This mode popped up occasionally between fights, and you had to button mash to fill a bar to smash through a stack of boards, bricks, or other materials. If you succeeded, you moved on, but if you failed, you got laughed at for being such a wimp.
Whippy, whippy, whippy!
It was chaotically tense for what amounted to just a simple side distraction between fights. It returned in Mortal Kombat 2, but with more objects and with more variety. Then in 2002's Deadly Alliance, it came back before it again went on hiatus until Mortal Kombat 9 in 2011. Well, a variation did appear in the 2005 spin-off Shaolin Monks, but we're not really talking about the spin-offs. today. Since
Okay, Mortal Kombat coming up. I like that. You got tired of editing near the end? Yeah, the editing always drags on. Dude, I gotta say, Test Your Might has always been one of my fucking favorite things. I'm so glad it's in MK1 and it like in the whatever it's called, Conquest mode. Turn on captions, it's a good idea. In the Conquest mode or whatever, that like they'll sprinkle in Test Your Mights and shit like that in between the regular fights. It does really well for like breaking up the pacing and also just being a fun little gimmick that's like, it's very Mortal Kombat in the way that it is.
its appearance in Mortal Kombat 9, it's shown up again in Mortal Kombat X and in MK1, where failure is now met with a gruesome death.
He ain't gonna be in Rush Hour 3.
But MK9 didn't just bring back Test Your Might, it also added 2 new modes that pushed the chaos even further. Test Your Sight and Test Your Luck. Test Your Sight was a simple shell game. Track the object under a set of moving cups, which sounds easy enough, but if you've ever been to a sporting event where they do this on the big screen, you'll know just how tough these can get. Test Your Luck was basically a chaos generator. A slot machine would spin before the fight, applying random modifiers like missiles falling from the sky, headless fighters, or no jumping allowed. It was the definition of unpredictable chaos. They would later take this modifier idea.
You know, I kind of want that again. Fucking headless and armless. I know they've got the modifiers and stuff in MK 11 and 1, but the totally unhinged bullshit, I want that back.
Idea and implement it into the Towers of Time mode from MK11, a mode that I
play MK1. I'm pretty sure it's not like, I don't know if there's anything as extreme, but from what I'm thinking, there was like the similar type of thing. I'm trying to think now. You've got me confused. It was like stage effects though, but I'm pretty sure it still exists. It definitely exists for like the boss fights that you have in the Conquest mode. But fuck, now I'm drawing a blank on like the missiles and shit that it would shoot at you. I don't think it's as prolific as it was in MK11. I remember it got annoying in MK11, but MK1 still has some of it at least. Stage effects, MK11, MK1, yeah. But there's nothing that like affects your character necessarily in the same way where you have like headless and armless and bullshit like that. Like that's the kind of stuff. The slot machine, yeah, that's the kind of stuff that's really interesting that I wish would come back, you know?
absolutely hated, by the way. But while the Test Your modes weren't all that deep or rewarding, they did set the tone that Mortal Kombat was about having fun in the weirdest ways possible.
Test your might.
What do you get when you mash together Mortal Kombat and Mario Kart? Well, at least it matches my eyes. Ah, yes, the cleverly named Motor Combat from the 2006 entry Armageddon saw the characters shrunk down and placed into themed cars for a Mario Kart-style action racing game. And yeah, this was just straight wild, wacky, weird, and chaotic.
I love this. Oh, the captions. That's good. MK9 was unique for its time. It was definitely out there. It's like with MK9, it was goofy. MK10 was a little less goofy. MK11 was like kind of not super goofy. And then MK1, they're back to being like, we can be a little goofy. Like MK11 definitely had like its goofy moments, but they were kind of like off to the side. Whereas I feel like in MK1, it's a lot more prevalent.
Each character has their own special moves because, of course they do. This is Mortal Kombat after all. With Sub-Zero firing his iconic ice ball and Scorpion doing what Scorpion does best.
MKX is the low. I definitely remember not having as much fun with it as I did MK11 or even MK1. MK1 I've had a lot of fun with. It's just that like everything else about the game, like the unlocks and like the removal of the crypt and like the focus on like the fucking overpriced store bullshit has really hurt that game for me. But I really like these carts. It would be so fucking fun to see the carts return in like a fatality type of way, like how you have all the different animalities and stuff or friendships in MK1 and MK11, to have cart-alities, I guess, where you have all the different characters summon their own special carts to kill their opponent with. Mortal Kombat Zero bag. Yeah. I'm getting the sense that Mortal Kombat is Ice's game for sure.
Even the tracks got the Mortal Kombat treatment, featuring death traps that will set you back if you fall or you get bumped into them. And as you soon discover, you can actually use your special abilities to force other players into them. Armageddon was the second game in the series to feature online play, and thankfully they also added online play to the Motor Combat mode. Of course, this was back when playing online was free and it only required a Sony Online account. One of my earliest memories of playing online on the PlayStation 2 is playing Motor Combat online and hearing all of
You would make makeshift Scorpion and Sub-Zero gauntlets. That's great. We've all done something like that at some point, you know?
the older people talking mad shit over the headsets. Motor Combat wouldn't be the only weird thing about Armageddon. Actually, it's probably easier to say what wasn't weird about Armageddon. So let's tackle a couple of other oddities from the game that aren't technically weird modes, but when the hell else am I going to be able to talk about them? Armageddon featured a mode called Create a Fighter. It's exactly what it sounds like.
I got a fever.
Have you ever played one of those WWE games where you get to create the most wretched abomination to ever grace a video game? Yeah, it's kind of like that. There are all sorts of options to customize this created character's appearance and even more options for defining their moveset, with some limits in place to prevent a character from being broken. Oh, and those limits didn't work anyway.
Look at all this damage!
But what about their fatalities? Well, that's where Armageddon's Create a Fatality feature comes in. Instead of having the incredibly iconic fatalities that are designed by the Mortal Kombat developers and actual, game designers, Armageddon instead put the control in the player's hands. When that voice rings out, you can hit various button combinations to pull off different moves and chain them together into your own unique fatality, complete with a final score and some coins awarded. There's this timer overhead that gets fast.
Create a Fatality is fucking amazing. What? Thank you, guys. Well, good to know that about the shirts. But Create a Fatality, I keep getting distracted. I'm in like ADHD mode tonight. Create a Fatality sounds fucking amazing. I would love to see that come back. There's no personality in the Create a Fatality. I don't know. It's something like you could definitely make it more robust in like a future installment. No special abilities from the characters. Yeah, I could see that being like they all feel the same no matter what character you're playing as, and you could definitely change that in like a modern game. But I feel like that'd be really, really interesting as like even as like a gimmick type thing. Like if the characters still have their generic, like, or not generic, but like their personal fatalities, and then you have like your special creative fatality thing on top of it. I think it's just kind of like it's a neat idea. If it came back, it'd be good. Yeah, if you could flesh it out, it would be good. It's like Gears of War Judgment. If you just let it cook a little bit, you've got a good idea there.
Faster and faster the farther you get into the chain, and if you fail to continue the chain, you'll just fail the fatality and your opponent falls over on their back. Really, the goal was to get to a 10-hit combo and then pull off a finishing blow to score an 11-hit ultimate fatality and earn more coins for the crypt. It really wasn't as cool as they thought it would be. Most of the time, you just get into the habit of doing the same combinations over and over once you'd gotten them down. That, and they took forever compared to fatalities from the other entries in the series. My go-to combo that I can remember pulling off involved pulling out a sword and then slicing off both their arms before killing them. Getting an ultimate fatality online was definitely BMing your opponent, and it was made even harder by the latency added by the relatively new console online architecture and everyone having really crappy state-of-the-art broadband. Armageddon chose to have 62 playable characters, the entirety of the Mortal Kombat universe at that point. But without any memorable fatalities, most casual gamers were left disappointed by the entry. The next mode we're going to talk about is a weird one, but it's also really big and it has nothing to do with fighting. It's actually just about unlocking stuff. It's called the Crypt. The idea is simple. You earn coins, spelled with a K of course, by playing the game.
The captions. I mean, it's like those little details, like that little bit of passion that just is fantastic. I forgot what I was gonna say. The crypt. Let's see. The Mortal Kombat 9 crypt was like weird, and you always had like the random demon bat that would show up, or Toasty would show up. The MK10 one I never touched because it was like first person, and like when I played it, it actually got me scared because I was like 12. The Scorpion. Oh, fair. But like the MK10 crypt, I never spent a lot of time with because like when I first played MK10, I was like, I'm not fucking with this. I'm not fighting spiders in first person. I'm playing Mortal Kombat, not Resident Evil. And then like the MK11 one, I really liked, with like the whole explore and like slowly unlocking it as you go through it. But then I think in MK1 it's totally removed. It just doesn't exist. There's like the Conquest map, which is kind of like somewhere in between like a Mortal Kombat campaign and also the crypt, because it does kind of act like the crypt in the way that you can find things and explore around the map a little bit to unlock like secrets and stuff. But it's not the crypt nearly in the same way. And I wish it did. Your favorite MK9 line for Stryker is him saying police brutality coming up. You see why he didn't come back? I mean, he did come back. He's in MK1. I don't think Stryker's character making a joke. Well, the character isn't making a joke, but the joke of the character is him committing police brutality is like cancelable or anything like that. Played MKX for like 4 hours total. Elder God status for 2 seasons. Yeah, I mean, he's a cop. I still don't see why that would stop him. We just had like 2 big RoboCop games come out. But yeah, MKX, I like liked it because it was like interesting, and I was like a teenager at the time. It was like, ooh, gore blood. But like, I think the one time I played with a buddy of mine who played Scorpion and MKX with like the 2 sword loadout, and he just sort of abused me for like 5 minutes, and I was like, okay, I never want to play Mortal Kombat ever again.
Then you spend those coins in a special mode to unlock characters, costumes, concept art, and other bonuses. But the way you unlock them is what made it unique. The crypt first appeared in Deadly Alliance in 2002. It was super bare bones by today's standards, just a grid of graves presented in a first-person menu. You'd highlight a coffin, spend your coins, and receive the reward inside. Sometimes it was cool, sometimes it was garbage.
I can't believe it either.
Can of squid.
Not cool. Totally lame.
There were also different colored coins, like ruby, sapphire, jade, and onyx, and each were tied to different types of rewards, and they were earned in different ways throughout the game. This added a weird layer of grinding and planning, especially if you were trying to unlock something specific. I can still remember getting up at like 5 a.m. and sneaking out to the living room while the rest of my family was asleep so I could grind away at the combo practice in the conquest mode to earn more coins and open more coffins. And opening up one of the coffins, I remember finding the new character, Frost. It felt like a treasure hunt, and in a way it was. And since there were 676 coffins to open, it ended like most high school prom nights, with a lot of shame and disappointment. So instead, you'd go on the internet, booting your family off the phone so that you can print a guide from GameFAQs. And yes, I do mean print a guide on paper. 2 years later, the crypt would return in Mortal Kombat Deception, and to be honest, it wasn't all that different from the crypt from Deadly Alliance, with the only notable change being a welcome reduction in coffins down to 400, but you still wanted a guide so you didn't have to open all 400 to find that one fatality that you were missing. But Mortal Kombat Armageddon in 2006 would see the mode return in the most watered-down, half-assed way possible, simply presenting the options as squares on a few different walls to be unlocked with the singular gold coins this time. And it's just another reason why Armageddon was such a letdown. Fast forward 5 years to Mortal Kombat 9, and the crypt would show back up, this time returning to the original first-person perspective, but really amping up the presentation by separating all of the unlockables into 4 different themed areas on this island. Gone are the chests and the gravestones, instead replaced with hanging bodies, torture victims, and bloated corpses to be opened for loot. It's just really cool going through this area and checking the map to get some loot and seeing all the... Oh yeah.
God damn it. I was so invested in the video. I should have expected that to show up. Fuck you, Ice. God damn.
And there's this fucker that pops up every now and then just to scare the ever-living shit out of you. I think my brain must have had a trauma response and blocked this guy from memory because I completely forgot about him and nearly woke up my whole house when I ran into him while replaying this game for this video. Mortal Kombat X in 2015 would also feature the Crypt, this time experienced more like a first-person adventure game, but it wasn't really a first-person adventure mode since you could only turn your character 90 degrees and walk in straight lines. It kind of reminds me of the Windows.
I forgot I put him there at one point after that. Dude, that caught me off guard. I was so invested in like the way that the Crypt used to be or whatever. That fucking, it's like a flashback.
Windows 95 screensaver game, a game that is now 30 years old and a reference that I'm sure only about 10% of you are going to understand. Throughout the MKX Crypt adventure, you would need to find various objects to unlock new paths, like finding Scorpion's dagger lodged in this guy's skull, and there were these random enemies that would pop up forcing you to press a button for a QuickTime event. And just a little off topic, but they added QuickTime events to the story mode of MKX, and I always hated that. Overall, this was a very good implementation of the Crypt, but you could still tell it was missing a little something extra that would fulfill the vision of the Mortal Kombat team. And
it was very well implemented.
In 2019, that vision finally came to fruition in Mortal Kombat 11. This time as a full-blown third-person adventure mode. You could actually walk around as a character on Shang Tsung's island, no less, exploring environments pulled straight from Mortal Kombat's most iconic stages, like the Pit, Goro's Lair, and the Dead Woods. There were locked doors, hidden levers, puzzles to solve, and creepy jump scares that made the whole thing feel like a part dungeon crawler, part fan service museum. One incredibly weird mechanic was the Shrine of Severed Heads. If you performed 50 fatalities against a specific character in the Towers of Time, their severed head would appear on a spike in the Crypt, and you could take that head and place it on a matching pedestal in the Warrior Shrine.
There was a way to break it. I forget how it was done, and I think it's been patched out still. Jesus. What do you call it? It was patched out like the same morning I did it, but it was possible to, like, if you like held a button combination soon enough after loading into the Crypt, that you could plant one head on the spike and it would like glitch out and let you just plant every head on every spike. And that's how I got that done in MK11. I did not perform 50 fatalities on every character. I glitched it out and I just cheated. Yeah. It was only available like, I think it was, people were only able to pull it off like 2 or 3 times because it was patched out like almost immediately after the exploit was found. And I literally did it like 12 hours before the final one was patched out. And I was like, I'm going to go into this and I'm getting all the rewards, baby. To like 25 after 2 months later. Yeah, I mean, I've probably done the amount of fatalities eventually on the characters and stuff. But I wasn't going to sit there and grind for it. I don't even remember what the rewards for the head was. Wasn't it just like a single skin for each of the characters or like a set of gear?
Which would unlock chests with higher tier rewards.
Yeah, it would be like a set of gear and a skin. It was never anything like that incredible. So it's like, I don't feel too bad about cheating it.
Some skins, augments, gear pieces unique to that character. But what sucked about it is when the game launched, there was no in-game counter tracking your progress towards unlocking a head. Making things worse, there was also a trophy or an achievement tied to completing this against all 25 characters when the game launched. It was fucking cruel. Most of the chests scattered around the island were randomized and full of junk. You could spend your hard-earned currency on a fancy-looking chest only to get some lame consumable that was only usable in the Towers of Time. That randomness made the progression so fucking frustrating. That said, not all of the chests were random, some had fixed rewards, and you could still go online to find guides pointing out where specific items were hidden. But on top of all of this, there were also microtransactions that let people buy specific currencies with real-world money. It gave the whole system a bit of this gross cash grab.
I don't remember, was anything locked in the... She kept trying to... I don't know what to, outside of like when we're done with this video, I can go take care of her. God damn, that kid fucking... We're already into this. Value your money too much. I don't remember if anything from the store be dipping out. All right, we'll see you next time, B. Saturday, should be. I don't remember if any of the skins, because I thought in MK11 all the skins that showed up in the store were skins that you could acquire anyways, but it just gave you the option to buy them straight out if you wanted to buy them rather than finding them in the crypt or something like that. But I don't, as far as I remember, that's how it was. I don't remember if there was any that were like unique or exclusive to the store.
Heavy feel, especially when you paired it with the randomized loot and the grind-heavy Towers of Time mode. But still, the crypt in Mortal Kombat 11 was a dream come true for longtime fans like me. The next mode we're going to talk about is the faction systems from Mortal Kombat X. This mode was Mortal Kombat X's attempt to turn single-player and multiplayer progression into a community-wide competition. Remember that Mortal Kombat X came out in 2015, so it was right at the height of companies looking to figure out live service offerings. At the start of the game, you got to pick between one of the 5 factions: the Lin Kuei, like Sub-Zero, the Black Dragons, like Cabal and Kano, the Brotherhood of Shadow, led by Quan Chi, the Special Forces, like Jax and Sonya, or the White Lotus, the faction started by Raiden to protect Earthrealm. Once selected, everything you did in-game, from story mode to online fights to even just training, X-ray modes, fatalities, all of it, contributed points to your faction's global total. Each week, the faction with the most points would win a global war and get bonus coins and rewards. Occasionally, a global faction invasion event would trigger, where one faction attacked the others and players had to complete objectives, special towers, and fight an invasion boss to push them back. It made the world of Mortal Kombat feel just a little bit more alive, like you're a part of something bigger. But the coolest part to me was the faction kill system, a system that allowed you to have special fatalities unique to your chosen faction. You started out with 2 faction kills for your faction, and you can unlock up to 3 more by leveling up your rank within your faction, which gave the whole system a little bit of progression.
I like doing all the fatalities on Alien so you can get away with not having to change the hue of the video.
Players stayed loyal to one faction just to climb the ladder and show off their exclusive fatalities. But while the faction mechanic didn't dramatically change how you played the game, it was a cool layer of identity and offered something that you couldn't get anywhere else in the series. But unfortunately, it just fizzled out over time. Most players weren't actively tracking the war and just played their own way, and people...
This video is 8 of 10 in my releases. Yeah, I mean, that's just the amount of videos that it's like, it's a video I make in 6 hours, and it's like a 1 out of 10. And it's like, why? I spent 2 weeks on that one, and it's a fucking 7 out of 10, or an 8 out of 10, or a 10 out of 10. It's like, why? Why do you do this to me? like YouTube would like show you, it's like, people like this kind of video, make this kind of video again. I'm like, okay, make it again. It's like, no, actually people don't like that kind of video, don't ever make it again. It's like, what the fuck are you telling me, man? You just said people like Warhammer versus whatever blank. Why do you not care to promote it anymore? Fucking algorithmic bullshit. And I'm not savvy, nor do I care enough to dive deep into like the inner machinations of the algorithm that changes every 2 weeks. Not doing that shit.
People, of course, realized that you could just jump between the factions to earn rewards and trophies, but at least it's one of the most community-driven features that Mortal Kombat has tried to employ in the series. Now, we all know Mortal Kombat can be stressful when you're trying to time out your...
This is completely off topic from the video, the new system that YouTube has where they give you an AI rundown on what people want, it's fucking disgusting. It's like, here's some videos you could try, and it just takes like your 10 most recent videos, or like your 10 most successful videos from the last 6 months, and jumbles together all of like the words and the titles into like something that's SEO friendly, and is like, what if you tried making a YouTube video about this? And it's like, how about you try sucking fat loads, dude? What the fuck are you talking about? Trying to pimp out my own content to me using a chat GPT thing. Inspiration. Yeah. It's fucking stupid. I hate it so much. And it generates like an AI generated thumbnail automatically and everything. And it's like, dude, get this out of my face. Fuck you. And it's like, it offers you like the most shitty ideas of all time. Where it's like, this is not even remotely a good idea. Even if I wanted to embrace the AI-ness of it, it's not even a good idea. Like, why the fuck would I make this video? These all suck.
Your special cancels and hit those frame perfect air juggles, and you just can't let that stress build for too long or you'll start getting caught by every uppercut that your opponent is spamming.
Scorpion wins.
Luckily, in Mortal Kombat Deception, there's a mode specifically for unwinding from all the carnage, letting you instead play a Tetris-like block puzzle game. Puzzle Combat shrunk down the roster to chibi-style characters that would automatically fight while the players focused on clearing their Tetris boards. Clearing matching blocks by using these breaker coins and setting up combos would send junk blocks to fill your opponent's grid. In classic Mortal Kombat fashion, each character also has their own special powers that could be activated by filling the super meter, like Sub-Zero freezing the enemy's blocks for a few seconds, or Scorpion throwing a spear and jumbling their board. And of course, what would a Mortal Kombat...
Dude, that's so fucking cool. What the fuck? I need this to come back now. Not even in a Mortal Kombat game, just in like a regular game on its own with like a whole slew of mechanics and stuff. What the fuck? This is so cool. Okay. Man. That's such a fun idea.
Combat Fight B without a fatality.
Fatality.
The puzzle combat mode was actually super fun to play. You'd boot it up, you just kind of chill out, vibe, do your thing with your puzzles. It got really tense in some of the harder difficulties whenever your board was starting to get filled. But if you're like me and you like Tetris, this is the game to play. But Mortal Kombat Deception's quirky game modes didn't end there. Maybe Tetris isn't your speed. Maybe you see yourself as more of an intellectual, sophisticated gamer. Well, Mortal Kombat Deception's got you covered with chess combat. In this spin on the classic board game, the number of pieces and the grid size get reduced down, and players assemble their team of combatants that will take the place of the pieces. When two pieces meet on the board, you enter into a normal Mortal Kombat fight, except each fighter will have different starting health pools depending on which chess piece they're acting as. Not only that, but each piece also has special powers available to use on the board, like healing a damaged piece, teleporting to another space, swapping with another piece, or just straight up killing another piece on the board. It all came together into this experience that was actually deeply rewarding by letting you play out your strategy and also letting you fight it out. And just like chess, the goal was to take down the enemy leader, performing a fatality to finish them and win the match. Both puzzle and chess combat also made their way to the PSP port of Deception, Mortal Kombat Unchained. I can remember one of the guys in my 8th grade class had it on his PSP, and it was just the coolest thing to me to be able to...
All of these, I haven't seen a single one of these side modes. Like, I was expecting these to all be kind of like disappointing. Or like, that's weird, that's goofy. These all seem fucking amazing. I would have a whole Mortal Kombat game of just the side shit come back and like modernized. Like a Crash Team Racing 4 Mortal Kombat. That sounds amazing.
Play a Mortal Kombat game in class. I can remember one field trip where we played chess combat for the entire bus ride. And nowadays, you can just play almost any game on your phone, and almost everyone has a Switch or a Steam Deck. But back then, it was just so freaking cool to have a full Mortal Kombat game in your hands. And puzzle and chess combat were perfect road trip games. All of the modes from Mortal Kombat Deception are up there with the best of the best weird modes that we got from Mortal Kombat. They're incredibly distinct and memorable and chaotic. And they're right in the DNA of what makes Mortal Kombat Mortal Kombat. It's pretty clear why most people still say that Deception was the best game, even if it was a little too, mid-2000s edgy and maybe not the best fighting mechanics. There was just so much to offer in Deception. The next mode we're going to talk about is the Invasions mode from Mortal Kombat 1. Invasions is Mortal Kombat 1's attempt at a seasonal single-player live service mode. Imagine a Mortal Kombat flavored board game smashed together with some light RPG elements, some event challenges, and some more tower fights. You navigate a literal map, moving piece by piece across themed boards, fighting battles at each node. Some battles are standard fights, others include modifiers just like the ones from Mortal Kombat 11's Towers of Time, which means they suck. Defeating these nodes unlocks rewards and new paths, and there are some light RPG.
By the way, there was no reason to change your stats for anything except for just raw attack and special. By the end, I think I did like 2 or 3 of the seasons, like all the way through to the end. I just did ripped raw attack and special and health, maybe. If you were hitting hard enough, it didn't matter.
The elements like equipable talismans that offer buffs or perks, such as gaining more health per win or dealing more elemental damage. But the mode is built around seasonal content with new maps themed to different realms or characters that drop regularly, and each season comes with its own progression path, objectives, and unlockables to keep you on that treadmill. While it offers a lot of variety for single-player content, not everyone loves it. I definitely am not enjoying Invasions while I play it right now. I just feel like it leans way too hard into the grind and the live service structure, especially
it is
with
also
all
very grindy. After I did 2 or 3 of the seasons all the way through, and like halfway through the second one, I was kind of over it. Like there's so many fights, and I think by like the 3rd or 4th season or whatever, when I was trying it, I was like, there's way less fights on the map now, which was a good thing. Because like that first season, the amount of fights on just one board that you had to run through because you had to do like every single one. God, it was fucking awful. They're never short on creativity. Sounds like good gameplay to fuck around with and add flavor. I mean, yeah, like the Mortal Kombat team, NetherRealm has always been really creative and adding like new stuff or even like bringing back old stuff in new light, but some stuff hits, some stuff doesn't, and it's just disappointing when it doesn't, or it gets repetitive. Like that's when it's the worst. Clone jumping to stop the missiles. Yeah, the minigame stuff some of that was annoying to me because I would see my character dodge the projectile and then it would kill me anyways, and I was like, okay, fuck you, game.
Of the pressure of finishing seasonal objectives before they expire, and I'm just not really vibing with the whole RPG light mechanics in this. Like, it's not like we haven't already had a Mortal Kombat RPG before this, right? But that said, Invasions is one of the most ambitious side modes in Mortal Kombat history. It's a fusion of RPG, some puzzle, and some unlockable progression systems, but it's just too bad that it pales in comparison to the...
Yeah, it is kind of just like the towers mixed with the crypt, but in a way that feels really grindy and like a slog. I think the way you move around the board hurt me the most because it's like if you even like glanced at going left and you wanted to go right, you had to wait for your character to go all the way left and then turn around and go all the way right and then all the way right again because like there was a chance of you getting stopped in the middle for an ambush or whatever. It was so annoying to move around those maps. It took fucking decades.
RPG type modes that appeared earlier in the series. Which brings us to the conquest modes found in Deadly Alliance, Deception, and Armageddon. Fighting games usually have one of 2 ways of dishing out the story, either through cutscenes during a traditional tournament-style mode.
This is not a brutality. This is a fatality.
Or through a crafted story mode that sees you jump between characters as the plot unfolds. Mortal Kombat started out with only the first method, and then starting with Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe, they switched over to the now expected story mode method. But in between, they were treading new ground by offering a fully fledged open world third-person mode. Okay, so Deadly Alliance isn't exactly a third-person adventure mode, but
MK4 is so funny, it's unreal. If the whole game's like that, I'm gonna look up all the cutscenes tonight. That I love like that fucking B-list tier dialogue. It's the fucking greatest. It's why I love Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon so much. There's so much of that dialogue. Like your character is like juiced up on dragon blood. That's why it's called Blood Dragon. And like the villain towards the end is like saying, "You're just like me. You bleed blue just like me. You're just as evil as I am." Like he pulls that whole thing. And the character, Rex Power Cult, obviously, goes, "No, my blood's red, white, and blue." And then the fucking music takes off and it's like, yeah, that's what I'm here for. MK9 had multiplayer where you had a set of players and each of them face off each other, and who wins becomes King of the Ring. Oh yeah, King of the Hill. I think Injustice, well no, because MK9 came out before Injustice, but yeah, King of the Hill was in all of their multiplayer games. As I think MK1 even still has it. But yeah, King of the Hill is... I don't know if MK9 is the first time they introduced it, but it's in all of the modern games. I think it's even in Injustice and Injustice 2. I remember, because the first time I played the King of the Hill was in the first Injustice game, and then I know it was in MK11 for sure. I didn't play a lot of MK1's multiplayer, though. Like, player v player multiplayer.
Hey, it's called Conquest, and it's their first attempt at making an adventure mode, and I'm just trying to give you all of the information, so cut me some slack. In Deadly Alliance, Conquest was a mode where you played through each of the characters to complete various objectives and missions. The objectives amounted to very simple stuff, like making your opponent drop a certain amount of blood or learning all of a character's combo strings. I have really, really fond memories of being forced to learn every character's combos and the absolute chaos of the combos that required you to switch between all three of the fighting stances, especially for the combos that involved air juggling and stance changes. Those definitely sent 8-year-old me into my first ever existential crisis. In between each mission, this monk would make his journey through the numbered huts, and this in no way actually tied to any story. In fact, there isn't really any story found in this version of Conquest at all. Once you've completed all of the missions for each character, the monk reaches the end of the journey, and there's this really lame cutscene as Blaze performs a meditative ritual, and just like that, you've unlocked 2 new characters for the other modes. The 2 characters being Blaze and the incredibly stupid, tongue-in-cheek embodiment of Midway's chaos, Mocap. It might not have been the most fleshed out system, but it laid the foundation for the next entry, and boy oh boy did they run away with the idea. Mortal Kombat Deception saw the return of the Conquest mode, but this time it was actually a fully fledged third-person RPG. You took control of a new character, Shujinko, on a journey to absorb the powers from those that he defeats in combat. Shujinko is on a quest to gather some legendary artifacts and travels to all the various realms to collect the Kamidogu. He does this at the behest of an elder god that turns out to be a trick by the Dragon King Onaga. And oh boy, that must be the deception that's in the subtitle. Shujinko starts out as a young boy and ages throughout the journey, eventually becoming Pai Mei from Kill Bill. The really cool part about it was just exploring all of the different realms in this open world RPG. There were a ton of chests to find and open, lore to be discovered, and a bunch of side quests. I remember this being the first game that I got to interact with the Tarkatans on Outworld, which was super interesting to me as a kid. And the whole thing was accentuated by some of the worst voice acting to great...
Dude. Hold on. I'm just having... You know how you make... You know how you make an amazing Mortal Kombat game? You take Expedition 33's open world, but instead of Expedition, how you like break out into Expedition style of turn-based combat, it just starts up a Mortal Kombat match. Tell me that wouldn't go hard. That would be a fantastic way of fitting Mortal Kombat's gameplay into like an open world type setting where you're allowed to go through the realms and explore and talk to different characters and stuff like that. That'd be so fucking cool. It would go so hard. I just have like a hard boner for Expedition 33 right now, obviously. Collecting the roster into your party. Yeah, like going through like an adventure and collecting people. You put the cake. Yeah. Building your roster, building out your team and stuff like that. That would be so good. That'd be so hot. That would be amazing. Ed Boon, please, if there's somewhere we can meet in an alleyway behind a Wendy's, we can make this happen. Please let me know so we can get on this right away and make the best Mortal Kombat game ever. Sub-Zero lets you freeze water and cross it. Dude, yes, you could tie the character. Oh my god. Scorpion lets you grapple and like get to like higher ledges. You could get like Fujin to like open wind gates or some bullshit. You know, tie in some things. You could pick up Sonya Blade, and now you have the option to like log into computer terminals or some bullshit. Have them all tie into different mechanics, dude. Like the what do you call it? The Lego Star Wars games. That was my favorite bit, where it's like you need to pull this lever, but it's got facial recognition, so you need to go get a stormtrooper helmet or bullshit like that. They don't need to all do it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously, just spitballing here, but like that would go so incredibly hard. A Metroidvania, yeah, something like that. God, that would be so cool. I just want to play more Expedition 33. That's really what it boils down to.
It's a video game.
Shang Tsung, I will win the Mortal Kombat tournament and free Earthrealm from your tyranny.
If you played this game and you haven't thought about it in years, one really stupid thing that I found while I was finding all the footage, it immediately sent me down memory lane, and it will probably do the same for you. But just remember that you could run up to random guards and people on the streets and you could punch them, and people would just randomly punch you back and send you flying. Now, I could probably go on and on for hours about all of the systems in this conquest mode. I'll just leave it with a very simple is good. Armageddon would also include a conquest mode, again with a change in formula. The conquest mode this time was turned into a linear brawler adventure mode, this time starring another new character named Taven. As you can see by the tattoo on Taven's face, don't mess with him or he might bite your ear off.
I was gonna rip his heart out. I'm the best ever.
Taven's on a journey to defeat Blaze and do some stuff with the Elder Gods and some all-powerful weapons. If you want a full lore dump, this video would take forever. Throughout the journey, you venture into various locales from the Mortal Kombat universe, like the Lin Kuei Palace, where you accidentally free Frost from her prison before meeting up with her former master, Sub-Zero. What made it special were all the little moments of coming face to face with the other characters and watching how they interacted with Taven. Like seeing the powerful Shinnok this way blew me away as a kid. And meeting up with Scorpion and the Shirai Ryu was just... But it definitely felt like a budget 3D brawler, and if it didn't have Mortal Kombat lore, I doubt anyone would look back on this game fondly. Still, we haven't seen a mode like this since Armageddon, and fans like me are
just
still
turn into a
clamoring
God of War
for a fully baked open world Mortal Kombat RPG. But since we'll probably never get one, we'll just keep revisiting these older games and picking them apart with a fine-tooth comb, which just
even the mainline games want to revisit the old ones anyways. Like MK1's plot like entirely revolves around all the shit in Armageddon. They literally go back to the pyramid and do the same fight, but instead of all the different characters, it's like all the different multiversal versions of the characters. So it's like the games themselves don't even want to leave behind the older games either.
Goes to show that Mortal Kombat is so beloved because it gets wacky, wild, and a little chaotic. So with that, we've now covered all of the weird, wacky game modes in Mortal Kombat. If there's one that you really loved, or if there's one that I even missed, let me know in the comments below. Big thanks again to all my channel members who support the channel. If you want to join these awesome people on screen, you can do so for only $1 a month. You can click one of the links on the screen right now to go to another video of mine. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Ice Cold Snake. I'll see you next time.
Hell yeah. Good stuff. I fucking love this video. I think that intro of like juxtaposing Mortal Kombat Mario Kart with the Doom Eternal theme really really caught me off guard in like the best way possible. This is amazing. It's great. But yeah, if you ever want to do Mortal Kombat 11 or MK1, I'm down. I'm going to probably re-download MK1 on the PS5, but it should be crossplay, I believe. It'd be confusing if it wasn't. If not, I have MK11 on the 360. Do one for all the times MK characters show up in other games. Like you talk about, like when Scorpion shows up in Injustice, like that kind of showing up in another game, like a cameo. Those are the only ones I'm familiar with, is like Scorpion shows up in Injustice 1 and Sub-Zero and Raiden show up in Injustice 2. I don't know. Maybe they did show up in other places. God. Let me get rid of this. God, there's been so much shit going on. Try to get caught up on it, but I don't know if I even could. Scorpion in a wrestling game on PS1. That makes sense. Them showing up in other fighting games. That makes a lot of sense why they would. Oh, there's new. This is unrelated. There's new 40k kill teams. It's out of stock already? The pre-order? Are you kidding me? Here, let's pull this up. This is the next Warhammer Kill Team box. Already out of stock, obviously. It sucks. I mean, it's just Tyranids versus, I think, Mechanicus. Servitors and stuff. It is interesting. I did miss... I was so upset with this. Laced Records was selling a monolith like collector's edition for Clair Obscur, and it's like a music box that looks like the monolith from the game with the Paintress, along with some other stuff like an art book or whatever. I just kind of wanted the music box, but it was open for pre-order until Thursday. I got paid on Friday, and by Friday morning it was sold out. And I was like, fuck. I wanted that music box real bad. I wasn't able to get it in time. But I think I don't really have anything to pull up for us to play. I still need to... I don't want to play Clair Obscur on stream because I don't want to spoil it for people. Again, just go play it. I will be making a video on it that should come out sometime next week. That will go over the full game, and maybe after that we can play it. But as of now, I'm not playing it on stream. I talked about it last weekend, and then I ended up not doing it because I was busy anyways. But I think I don't want to play it for people if you haven't had the chance to play it yourself. And then maybe next week we'll come back with something else. But it's about 2 hours. A decent stream. Good times. Going back over the Xbox Game Showcase. And Ice's wonderful Mortal Kombat video. That actually got a really decent laugh out of me. And a scare. Somehow. Fucking almost made me shit myself. That's not cool. That's fucked up. But yeah. I think that's about it. And a scare. That's, yeah. Ever feel like replaying the old God of War games? Replaying? I've never played the old God of War game. I'd be playing them for the first time. The only God of War games I've played is the 2018 and onward and Ragnarok. I know the story of the old games. Like, I've watched other people playing them, I've watched the cutscenes and stuff, but I haven't played them myself. The closest I've gotten is that, like, I've played Darksiders. Darksiders, as far as I know, is like somewhat Vim's Lair. Okay, I'll have to look at it. Darksiders is like somewhat God of War adjacent, and like Star Wars: The Force Unleashed. Vim's Lair. Is this what the game looks like? No, this is just the... Oh, is that just the emulator itself? I thought that was a game. A lot of people call Darksiders Zelda-esque. I mean, it is Zelda-esque, but like the combat of it is definitely God of War with like your combos and stuff. And like it's like a hack and slash type thing. Go get the ISO files. Brother, I'm on Mac. I don't think I could. I've never emulated before. Oh, there is a Mac for some of these. For Stella? Maybe. Maybe if I have a chance. I'd have to find like a specific game for me to emulate. PCSX. Oh, they do have a Mac version of it. Okay. Maybe I'll look and see if I can get that running. Requires a PS2 BIOS? The fuck is that? For Apple? Oh. Where's the PS2 BIOS? The fuck is that? Can send me the files? It would give you more context what people mean when they tell you old God of War is deep. I mean, I've seen the whole story. Just because I haven't played through the story doesn't mean I don't know the story. But it's also not that deep. But God, there's a lot of shit in here. Yeah, I could try it out. I don't know what exactly PS2 games it would be worth it for me to try out, though. God damn, there's a lot here. Oh, they got Xbox 360 stuff, too. Missing media. Battlefront 2. Start with God of War. I can play the God of War games on the PS5, can't I? Isn't that possible? God of War 2. Oh, is it telling you, like, based on what? Lego Batman? Lego Batman was on PS2? Damn. I think they got a war on there for streaming. Oh, maybe. Hold on, let's look it up. Because I have a PS5. Like, I would rather do... You could stream God of War 1 and 2, and then God of War 3, you could play the remastered, okay? That's fair. But I would rather do it on the PlayStation than try out an emulator. Just do it on maybe. I'll have to look into it, and I'll let you know. That also assumes that I want to play God of War 1, 2, and 3. I've said many times that I don't have the same affinity for like older games because they're like, to me, they're just more clunky. And I don't have that same nostalgia. Plug your controller into the Mac. I don't have a corded controller. I would have to see if my Xbox controller is compatible. Experience Buster learning about old God of War content. I know old God of War. You're acting like I'm like completely dumb. Like I know all the stuff that happens in the games and like the side stuff and whatnot. USB-C from PS5 controller. Okay, fair enough. I'll look into it. I'll look and I'll see. Okay, I just know that I'm not necessarily gonna be super excited to play through old. Like I struggle with old games that I'm into, let alone old games that I don't necessarily care about. You know what I mean? The little details. Fair, I guess. We'll see. I'll have to pull them up eventually. When I got the time. Like, I already have a good streaming day game because you don't have to be super focused. I mean, that's fair. But, like, there's a lot of games that are, like, modern that I still need to play. That I don't want to take time out of my day to go play fucking God of War 1. But we'll see. We'll run it back. Anyways. We've been live for 2 hours. We'll be back next weekend. Yeah, dude, I still have to finish Expedition 33 again. And then I might do a New Game Plus for a second time after that. So, like, I don't know if I'm going to have time to play modern games. That's fair. Yeah. Like, dude, my backlog is huge. I still have to play Senua 2. I still have to play Plague Tale 2. I still have to play Expedition 33 again. It's such a huge list here. Hold on. Let's pull up. You know what? Honestly, let's pull up the 360. We'll look at exactly how many games I have that, like, I have installed even on my 360 still, and I haven't gotten around to playing them. Let's pull this up. Elgato. Guys, don't look at my pin, okay? It's really sensitive and you can't know it. I saw you looking. Why the fuck would you do that? Why would you look at my pin? That's personal, sensitive information. Why the fuck, guys? What the hell? Games and apps. Let's go through and look at the games I have downloaded that I intended to play at one point or another. Did I say 360? Games I intended to play at one point or another, and I never got around to it. Nothing on this first row. Nothing on this second row. We played Doom the Dark Ages on stream. Avowed I started on stream. Didn't finish it. Oh, you can't see it. It's like kind of covered up. Metro Exodus did that. Titanfall. Generation Zero I got into. I did not finish it. Dishonored 2. I still have not gotten around to finishing Dishonored 2. The rest of these I've played. Shadow of War, no. Origins I have not finished. Inquisitor I have not finished. I need to get into those at some point. Senua Hellblade 2. Expedition 33 I gotta play again. Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered. Unity. Fuck. I'm now realizing how many of these games I haven't played. I have played a fair amount of them. You know, there's less that I haven't played than I have. Darksiders 3 probably at some point. Anything here? No. Hey, we're doing good. We're doing better. Far Cry Primal, I never finished that one. I'm surprisingly bad at finishing games. Games that I'm into. Brutal Legend, I never got to play all the way through. Army of Two. Fallout New Vegas, I started when everyone was talking about it, and I could not get into it. What? Gotta bounce. Okay, I'll check out the emulator. Or just see if I can get it running on the PS5 if the emulator doesn't work. Maybe we'll go check it out. Okay, there's a lot less games than I thought there would be. I guess I don't have Senua 2. No, I have Senua 2 downloaded. I don't have Plague Tale 2 downloaded. That sucks. But yeah. We'll get to all that in the future. For now, thank you everybody for watching. Thank you, Ice, as always, for the wonderful content for us to look at. And stay cool. Have fun. Be awesome. Play Expedition 33. Play it. Play it right now. It's such a good fucking game. Play it. And with that,